If you are ready for all of your relationships to finally start getting so much better, Venus is finally about to enter the sign of Leo on August 25th, where it will stay in that sign until September 19th, making it almost an entire month where Venus will be transiting the sign of Leo. When Venus is in this sign, you are going to start to have much better relationships. You might find yourself attracting new partners into your life. You might find yourself going through some sort of major glow up and having a lot more new creative ideas. Venus is the planet of aesthetics. It has a lot to do with what we consider to be beautiful, and it also has a lot to do with the way that we style ourselves, how we do our hair, how we do our makeup. It has a lot to do with the aesthetics that we are very drawn toward. It also has a lot to do with our relationships. The planet Venus is very known for romantic relationships, our platonic relationships, even how we interact with our coworkers. It is what we want when we're in a relationship. And so when we have Venus in this sign, you might find yourself attracting new people into your life and just having very favorable relationships in general with everybody who is in your life. Venus is also very known for our finances. And when you have Venus in the sign of Leo, we are going to have all of these themes kind of illuminated. Leo energy is the only sign ruled by the sun. And when we think about the actual literal sun in the sky, it is the center of our galaxy. And all of the planets revolve around the sun and helps all of the plants and like life on Earth grow. So when we think about Venus being in the sign of Leo, it is going to illuminate these areas of our life. You might find your own life revolving around these themes of relationships, beauty, and your finances. It might really take center stage throughout the next month, where you are more focused on these things, but it is also happening more often in your life. And especially during Virgo season, when we're going to be experiencing this, Virgo energy is going to be more subtle than Leo energy. And when we have a lot of focus on Virgo energy, you might be in more situations where you'll spend most of your time at school or at work. Again, this is also September, but you're going to have more favorable relationships with everyone around you. Venus being in the sign of Leo at the same time of us being in Virgo season is going to be like, while yes, you'll be in these environments where you are going to be primarily studying or working on projects or just doing very diligent things, you in general are more than likely to have just very favorable relationships. You could make new best friendships. Again, it's very likely that many of us will be entering new romantic relationships during this time as well. And there'll just be this major focus on these themes where you will be focusing more on your love life. Even if you are in a situation where you're more focused on like work or school, you can have more romances. Venus in Leo loves romance. It loves performance. It loves the drama. Because Leo energy is associated with the 5th house in astrology, it has a lot to do with these themes. And again, you might have more flings during this time or some sort of whirlwind romance that really illuminates that area of your life. And Venus being in the sign of Leo is just very favorable for creatives and beginning new creative projects. So you might find yourself beginning some sort of creative project or getting involved in some sort of theater production or being somewhere where you are taking the spotlight in whatever you are doing. You might also find that if you natally have your Venus placement in the sign of Leo, you're going to be going through something called your Venus return. And this is a time in your life that happens once every year where the transit Venus in the sky meets your natal Venus at the exact same time it was when you were born. So you might find that you specifically, more than others, will be experiencing this transit a lot strongly. It's very likely that you, if you have Venus in the sign of Leo and are experiencing your Venus return, will have some sort of new romantic relationship start. You could meet a new best friend. You could start a spectacular creative project that really puts you on the map that everybody is kind of like in awe of. This is the type of energy that if you are creative, which I feel like most people who have Venus in the sign of Leo natally are very creative people, this is the type of energy where you could start that project that puts you on the map and all eyes will be on you. That's the type of energy that you will be experiencing during your Venus return. The other thing about having your Venus return is that you most likely will have some sort of increase in your finances. This could be a additional stream of income, increase at work. You could receive some sort of major raise. You could receive something in your life that really puts your finances into the spotlight. spotlight and you receive some sort of large windfall. Something very positive will happen if this is your Venus return. For the most of us, we will still be experiencing these themes when Venus enters the sign of Leo. This is also coming from Venus being in the sign of Cancer. So you could have spent a lot more time at home, because when Venus is in the sign of Cancer, you could have had more favorable relationships with your maternal figures in your family. You could have wanted to spend more time at home. You could have worked on beautifying your house, and you could have worked on your actual physical living environment. And now with Venus entering the sign of Leo, this is going to cause you to focus more on your friendships, more on your creative projects. This is more social energy than Venus in the sign of Cancer. Venus in the sign of Leo is more about friendships, performance, being bold and dramatic and entertaining for other people. That's more of the energy. And you might also find yourself not being as emotional as you were when Venus is in the sign of Cancer, and now being more expressive and more magnetic in general for other people. You might just find yourself having a lot more fun, because Leo energy loves to go and have fun and like actually do things. You might find yourself actually going from the house and going to concerts, going and seeing theater performances, going to parties with your friends, things like that. Leo energy is very associated with that type of energy. And when you're in those environments across the board, you are more than likely going to have more romance in your life. Again, Leo energy loves romance. It loves drama. It loves that type of stuff. So it is very likely to happen for you. You could have more like just romantic, positive feelings in your life. This type of energy is more short-term romances, the type of person who comes into your life, sweeps you off your feet, and you are just generally feeling a lot happier. That is more Venus and Leo type of energy. So I'm going to go ahead and go through all the rising signs so you can gain a sense to see how this transit will affect you, but also watch your sun and moon in addition to your rising signs so you can gain a full picture of how this transit will affect you. If you're an Aries rising, when Venus enters the sign of Leo, this is going to be one of the most fun times in your life. You're going to have more opportunities to just generally have a lot more fun, because this is going to be transiting your 5th house. You're going to be attracting more romance in your life. Very positive things are going to be happening for you as it relates to your social circles, what you consider to be very fun. You might find yourself attending more concerts, going to more parties, going to bars, clubs, anything that you consider to bring you a lot of joy and happiness is very likely to happen for you. And when you're in those sorts of environments, you might also find yourself attracting people into your life who you're going to have some sort of whirlwind romance with. You might start some sort of fling with somebody, or someone will enter your life who views you as the ideal romantic partner, and you'll find yourself entering some sort of romantic partnership or a relationship with them. This energy for you is also really good for creativity. If you're any sort of creative person, you might find yourself drawing more, writing more, coming up with video content, literally anything. You might feel more inclined to create at this point in time. You may also find that because Leo rules your 5th house, anything that you create has a higher likelihood of becoming more successful during this time. So if now has ever been a better time for you to actually begin a creative project, you are more than likely to be very successful in doing so. Leo energy tends to illuminate areas of your life, so you'll receive a lot of success whenever you actually launch that project. This is also the type of energy where you might feel more inclined just to create things more and more often, and you could find yourself trending online, or you could find yourself receiving a lot of attention. Venus transiting your 5th house for you in the sign of Leo is very, very favorable for these things. And again, this is starting new creative projects, going and having a lot more fun, going to concerts, parties, clubs, anything that brings you a lot of joy. And when you're there, you're going to be like the person, all eyes are going to be on you. You're going to be the center of attention. That's what Leo energy really brings. Again, when we think about the actual sun in the solar system, this is going to be like you're the center and everybody's going to gravitate around you. You are going to be the star, which is very associated with Leo energy as well. If you're a Taurus rising, when Venus enters the sign of Leo for you, you might find yourself spending more time with your family or just spending more time at home. You may find yourself having more positive emotions whenever you're in your actual physical home. This is also a really good time to redecorate or just change your living environment in some way. It's just a very favorable transit for you for your actual home life. You might find yourself finally getting into a situation with your house where you start feeling a lot more comfortable, a lot happier. You might also find yourself starting more creative projects in your actual home as well. Like maybe you start drawing more, or maybe you start creating content in your actual house, and it'll be seen very favorably. For you specifically, you're also having Pluto currently transiting your 10th. So you might experience this type of energy where you could start creating projects in your actual house, and it'll be seen more in the public eye. While Pluto might bring some intensity with this, it will cause you to be seen more and more in the spotlight. And when Venus is transiting your 4th house, this is going to be very favorable for this. So you may find yourself creating a creative project that gets seen by many people. You may also have just more favorable relationships with your family members. If you live with anybody, this is also a good time to have just like good relationships with any roommates, any family members, even to an extent your pets as well. You could have just like very favorable things as it relates to those themes and your actual living environment. You could also find yourself getting an opportunity to change houses or change apartments and be able to live somewhere that is more aligned with you. This is also an opportunity that could come in for you when Venus enters the sign of Leo. If you're a Gemini rising, when Venus enters the sign of Leo, you are going to have better just luck and just generally more favorable things happening for you on social media specifically. Venus is going to be transiting your 3rd house, and now is going to be a time where you might feel more creative as it pertains to what you actually do on social media. You might find yourself starting to create content, or starting that podcast, or starting to create music, or anything of that nature. You may find yourself becoming more inclined to wanting to begin those projects. You may also find that this might be a time where you just have very favorable things happening for you. Like you could have some sort of trending content. If you actually start posting, you might actually, again, have something go viral. When Venus transits your 3rd, it's like you are more inclined to create projects around communications. And again, the 3rd house is very associated with that type of energy. It's very associated with social media. While it does govern like thinking and the mind and everything of that nature, it is going to cause you to want to create things around those themes. This is also another thing that can happen, but you might also find yourself going and shopping more often. Like you might find yourself taking more short trips to the mall or to stores or boutiques that you really like and changing your wardrobe. You might find yourself going and actually shopping more often in like physical stores. There will be something very favorable that will happen for you around these themes, where you might find yourself being like, I want to completely redo my wardrobe. I want to start wearing brighter colors, or I want to start dressing more theatrically and more dramatically. And this is something that I want to do. And you might find yourself going to these places more often. You might also find yourself attending more concerts in your area, not necessarily traveling across the country to go see a concert or hopping on a plane, but instead you could be driving down the street to go see a concert, or just attending a performance at your local theater. That is more than likely going to be happening for you during this transit. The 3rd house is all about short-term travel. So you might find yourself, again, going to a local concert, or you might find yourself going to some sort of like theatrical performance in your area. It's that type of energy. You might also find yourself attending more parties. Like if your friend lives down the street, you might drive to and see your friend, and you go to their party that's like right down the street. That's also very likely of what's to happen when Venus is in the sign of Leo for you. If you're a Cancer rising, when Venus enters the sign of Leo, you are more than likely going to have a major increase in your finances. This is a very positive transit for your financial life because you're already experiencing some stuff happening with your public image and career right now. And you're also being a magnet for attention with Jupiter currently transiting your 1st house. When Venus enters your 2nd, this is going to allow you to have some sort of door of opportunity open for you that is going to allow your finances to increase exponentially. Something very positive is going to happen with your financial life. Again, this could be a raise with your current profession. This could be getting into a position of management, going higher up in your company and receiving a raise that corresponds with that. Or you might also start a side hustle or some sort of new business that will allow you to really tap into more increasing your finances exponentially. This could be a large windfall or something that happens as it pertains to your work life that allows you to really see a large increase. Venus is the planet that governs finances, and the second house is the only house that is associated with your own personal earning power. So when Venus transits your second house, this is really going to illuminate this area for you and allow these things to manifest in your life. This is more of a positive transit for your finances. So again, it's like a major raise at work. It is receiving some sort of major windfall as it pertains to your business or your side hustle. You might also find that during this time, which you kind of experience naturally, you in particular tend to thrive when you are creating or performing or entertaining other people. You might have more opportunities to do so. You might book a show, or you might start creating content, which will allow you to really tap into the current transits to your 10th house and first house, but then also see that major increase in your finances during this time. If you're a Leo rising, when Venus enters your sign, you are going to feel reborn. You are going to start to feel a lot happier than when we had Venus transiting Cancer, which is your 12th. You might have gone through some turbulence in August, even though it was Leo season and a time that you should have been very happy. Because Venus was transiting your 12th, you could have experienced a lot of just intensity or turmoil. And now when Venus finally enters your first, you are going to feel like a brand new person. You're going to feel reborn again. You might feel a lot more attractive. And you might also go through kind of like a glow up where maybe you change your wardrobe or you change the way you present yourself. You could finally get your hair done, or you could finally get that makeup that you've always wanted, and now you feel a lot happier. Or maybe you start investing more in your skincare. When Venus transits your first, this is going to cause you to again focus more on your aesthetics, and again, this could literally translate to skincare, hair care, wardrobe stuff, anything involving your physical appearance. This is your first house, and when Venus transits that, it's going to cause you to focus more on these themes in your life, because Venus is all about our own aesthetics, our beauty. And you might find yourself again changing your appearance in some way, or really going through some sort of major glow up. This is very positive energy for you. And with also the transits happening to your second house, you are going to start to feel a lot more confident. You might not have had the same energy happening in August, but in this month now, starting on August 25th through September 19th, you're going to start to feel a lot more confident. It's also very possible this has to do more with the current Virgo transits than Venus transiting your first, but you could receive some sort of raise at work as well. When you have these second house transits, you might receive some sort of unexpected income as it relates to your own personal earning power. Although it's very possible you could also receive some sort of windfall. Right now it's just very positive for your financial life, Leo rising, and you're gonna have the glow up that goes along with it. This new increase that you could receive, you might also reinvest back into yourself with Venus transiting your first. So it's like you're having the cash flow coming to you. Your finances are increasing, but then you go and you reinvest it back into your aesthetics and yourself. This is the type of energy where like you just receive a raise at work, or your side hustle does really well, and then you immediately go and invest it in skincare, or you get your hair done, or you change your wardrobe, or you do something that it's like you're investing in yourself type of energy. That's more along the lines of what is to happen. You might also find yourself attracting new people into your life who view you as very attractive. When Venus transits your first, it's like not only are you going to be working more on yourself, but other people will see you as more attractive. And that's kind of what happens when you have Venus, or really any planets transiting your first, is like other people will focus on the looks because you have the first house transit. And you might find that people will be very magnetized towards you during this time because you're having Pluto transiting your 7th. This is like magnetic energy for potential future partners, and they are going to think you are like stepping into this new era where you are going to come out more beautiful and a lot happier with better financial life. If you're a Virgo rising, when Venus enters the sign of Leo for you, you might find yourself wanting to be more of a homebody during this time. You may find yourself really focusing on themes like spirituality. You might get more invested in things like astrology. You may actually also learn some astrology skills as well during this time, or just become more focused on your spiritual self. You might also have some spiritual experiences during the entire month. While you will have a lot of transits to your first house, when we have the South Node, the Sun, and Mercury transiting the sign of Virgo for the majority of Venus transiting Leo, which is your 12th house, you may find yourself again feeling like you're wanting to work on yourself and working on your own self-improvement, but at the same time it's like you also are trying to grow spiritually as well. And I feel like that's going to be a major theme for you from August 25th through September 19th, where you're working on yourself, you're trying to reach like your highest purpose, and you're trying to grow spiritually as well. So again, you might be more focused on these themes. You might start working with tarot, or you might become more interested in things like crystals. It's also very likely that you could actually start investing in certain things. Like maybe you start investing in crystals, or you start actually collecting things around your house as it relates to spirituality and how you experience those themes. And you might also find yourself not necessarily having the most social life during this time. This is the type of energy where you kind of focus more on yourself, and you're not necessarily focusing so much so on your social life. You might not necessarily seek to attend parties or anything, but instead this is going to be the time in your life where you are really recombobulating and getting ready for when Venus goes into your first house on September 19th, and that's going to be when you're going to start to feel reborn again, and things are going to start to change in your life. And again, I feel like now during this time in your life, you're going through a period where you are working on yourself and also at the same time really growing spiritually. If you're a Libra rising, when Venus enters the sign of Leo, this is going to bring your social circles and your friendship groups into the light. This is going to be one of the most positive transits for you as it relates to your friendships. You might start actually going and seeing your friends a lot more often. You might actually find yourself going to like more concerts as well. You might feel like right now is the time that you're going through a glow up. I feel like you, more than the other signs, are currently going through a major transformation with the way you see yourself and even with what you do for work. Right now, so much has changed for you since about January, where you have gone through a glow up. You are starting to focus more on your creative self. You're starting to feel more attractive with the people around you. And now you're going to start attracting these new people into your life, which is very likely going to be happening when Venus enters the sign of Leo for you, because that's going to be a transit for you where things are going to start getting a lot better as it relates to your social life. You're going to start to feel a lot happier, and good things are going to be happening as it relates to those themes for you. This is attracting more people into your life, going and attending concerts. You might also see your social media presence exponentially increase, especially when Pluto is now transiting the sign of Aquarius. This is going to cause you to focus more on creativity and creation. You're going to start to find that the fruits of your labor are going to start coming through, and good things are going to start happening during this transit for you. You could still feel like you're kind of like a homebody during this time as well a little bit, because even though you're going to be more likely to want to attend social events and like want to attend clubs and parties and stuff, you are also going to have some 12th house transit. And I know for you this summer was really busy with everything that you've been doing with all of the 10th house transits. You might find yourself wanting to be really busy and wanting to be seen, but at the same time there's part of you that wants to kind of be a homebody as well. It's okay to do that, and it's okay to be by yourself some of the time, but then you will still see it's still going to be happening for you, where you're still going to receive those invitations to do social things. And you may find yourself again finding your social media presence growing. Right now is also a really good time to post content and really begin any creative project that's going to be seen. If you work in a creative industry, you might now begin a project that really gets a lot of eyeballs on it. And you might also find yourself again being in a situation where what you create will be seen by lots of people. If you're a Scorpio rising, when Venus enters the sign of Leo for you, this is going to be very positive for your career. Your public image is going to be illuminated. When this transits this house for you, you are also going to start feeling a lot more creative again, and you're not necessarily going to be working so much. Instead, you'll find that you'll have that elevation with your public image. People will recognize you. People will see you. You will be more recognized. People will see you for being somebody as like an authority figure or somebody more in like a management position at work. It's very likely that you could also, again, be more focused on your creative self during this time. You could start a new creative project. It's not that you're not going to be busy. It's more like you're not going to be as busy as you did previously when we were experiencing all of the Aries transits. And again, all of the energy that we're going to be experiencing with Saturn re-entering the sign of Pisces coming up pretty soon during this transit, and then Neptune also following that, it's like you're going to start to feel very creative, but then you're also going to be really seen by other people. So again, this could be getting seen at your company. You could be getting some sort of promotion around creativity. You could start managing other people. You could have something like that happening. And what comes with that is you could also receive some sort of raise as well. Something is going to be happening that's going to be very beneficial for your public image, basically, and your career. So again, maybe if you've been working so much this summer and you could have even received some sort of promotion in like August, now is going to really just like instill those themes, but you're going to be more focused on your creativity. You might also have some opportunities to have more fun and just generally good things happening. So you might have more opportunities to attend happy hours, which again could really elevate your position in your company. Like maybe all of a sudden you start networking more with the people around you, which is also very likely to happen with all the Virgo transits we're having. And you get seen more as this person who is a leader, who is a manager, and then the promotion comes and then the raise comes. That is kind of what is on the way for you. And again, this is going to be super beneficial. You might find yourself more and more in the spotlight. If you are not currently somebody who is trending, you might create some sort of trending content as well. Might not necessarily be so associated with your work life, and instead it could be more associated with you posting content, and it just does very well and is very successful. That's also very likely what is about to happen for you. If you're a Sagittarius rising, you are very likely to have some sort of new travel opportunity happen when Venus enters the sign of Leo. You are very likely to have some sort of opportunity to take a business trip, to travel to a new location, to finally go on a vacation. You are very likely to have something like that happen. You might also find yourself starting school again or starting higher education. You could be going back to school, and you could also have to travel for school, and you'll have more like positive relationships around those themes for you. If you are going back to school and traveling back to school or starting some sort of like doctoral or master's program, you're gonna have like a lot luckier things happen to you. You might also have very favorable relationships when you're in those areas. If you're traveling or going on some sort of like business trip or just traveling because you want to travel, you're very likely to meet some sort of romantic partner there. If you travel to another country, you could meet somebody who sweeps you off your feet and you have some sort of whirlwind romance. You're more than likely to have something like that happen for you during this time. If you're in college or getting your higher education degree, you could have something like that happen too. You could start a relationship during this time at college or at school. That's also very likely to happen for you. Because this is Virgo season, you may also find yourself just generally having a lot of success in whatever you do. And what comes with that is maybe you go on like a business trip, but then all of a sudden you meet someone when you're attending that business trip. That is also very likely to happen, especially if you have to travel. That is very likely of what is going to be in the cards for you. If you're a Capricorn rising, when Venus enters the sign of Leo, you're going to start attracting even more people into your life. People are going to be a little bit more obsessed with you during this time. And even though Jupiter is currently transiting your 7th right now, when Venus enters your 8th is really going to increase your magnetism. You're going to start to feel a lot more attractive, and people are going to be very magnetized towards you. It is also very possible that during this time you could receive some sort of major windfall or just like some sort of large lump sum coming your way. This is like your side hustle doing really, really well, or you get some sort of tax break or sudden inheritance inheritance, now is the time that this is more than likely to happen for you. And all of a sudden things start coming your way and things start really picking up the pace as it relates to your financial life. And you might also find that right now you're working a little bit more to be in the spotlight, or just working a little bit more for your career. Maybe you're working towards a promotion. Maybe you're working more just to be seen or having better relationships with your professional life. As a result, you could receive some sort of major raise or something of that nature as it relates to your finances. You could also attract a partner into your life who is like an angel investor or someone who wants to like help you financially. That's also very likely of what could happen in your life. When you have Venus transiting your 8th, you might be attracting relationships into your life where you have the type of dynamic where one person is helping the other person. That is more than likely of what is going to be happening for you. And you might find yourself just like attracting these types of people into your life where they want to help you financially in some way. And any new relationship that you begin really for the rest of 2025 and into 2026 is going to be very lucky for you. This is going to be the time in your life where you are the most magnetic. You are the most likely to attract potential partners into your life. This is going to be the time where you could also meet your future marriage partner or your future spouse. You could meet someone in your life who sweeps you off your feet and wants to support you. You meet them during this transit. You might also attract people who are, again, a little obsessed with you. So I feel like when Venus is in the sign of Leo for you, you might want to lean on the side of caution a little bit unless you already know how you kind of work with 8th house energy. But those are going to be the type of people who you attract into your life. And again, this is also going to be just positive for you financially. And it's going to be a generally good transit. And again, this might also somehow help you with your public image with the current Libra transits we're experiencing, and how we will experience more energy in that area of life for you throughout the rest of September and into October. If you're an Aquarius rising, when Venus enters the sign of Leo for you, you're going to start attracting new partners into your life, and they're going to find you really attractive. Now is going to be one of the most potent times for you that you're going to be very attractive to other people. People are going to see you and think that you are just so magnetic, so charismatic, and they might even be a little obsessed with you. It's not just the fact that you're going to have Venus transiting your 7th of Leo, but you also currently have Pluto transiting your 1st house. And this is going to cause you to feel very magnetic to other people. Pluto is ruled by Scorpio energy. So when you think about Scorpio energy, that is so much intense magnetism, charisma, and just like the intensity around those themes. And you're going to start to feel like you are taking on those traits. You are becoming more of a magnetic person. You may also find yourself becoming a lot more influential as well during this time. And the relationships that you attract into your life may also help you with your public image in some way as well. Like maybe you get into a relationship with somebody and then all of a sudden your career starts doing really, really well. This person may be really good for your public image, and they may also open doors of opportunity for you in some way. Like, you know, those people who get into relationships and then all of a sudden it's like they level up in the public eye. Like, this is the type of energy that this is bringing. You might also find that because you're experiencing Pluto transiting your 1st, it's like you feel reborn again, and other people are really starting to notice this. And it is not just the fact that like you're going to start to be a magnet for romantic partners. This is going to be everybody. But because Venus is currently transiting your 7th, this is going to be like all these new people who enter your life will help you with your public image. The fact that your 7th house is also ruled by Leo, it just illuminates this area of your life. Like, your relationships will have a lot to do with how you're seen publicly. And it's just going to be just very favorable for you. You also could meet like a new business partner during this time, or just like someone who will help you reach that next level of your career and eventually help you grow financially from it. This could be making like a new best friend who's like also your coworker, or starting a new business with somebody who is your best friend. And then all of a sudden your public image starts growing and growing and you become very, very successful. This is that type of energy. If you're a Pisces rising, when Venus enters the sign of Leo, you're going to start taking so much better care of your health. You're going to start to feel a lot better. You're going to start working out more. You're going to start going to the gym a lot more often. You might even find yourself romanticizing your day-to-day life a little bit. And this is just going to do really nicely with the fact that you have some major 7th house transits happening at the same time. And Jupiter transiting your 5th. So it's like your romantic life is illuminated by these themes right now. You are more than likely to attract someone in your life who wants to be like a long-term partner with you, and you're gonna have more romance in general. You might also start to feel a lot more creative and just like a lot happier. I feel like Jupiter transiting your 5th is going to really expand upon joy in your life, and you're generally just going to have better things happening in your life where you feel very, very happy. The 5th house is all about the things that make us happy, the things that bring us joy, the things that cause us to feel creative as well. So you might have more romances during this time, and you might have more invitations to go to parties. You might also start feeling a lot more attractive because of the first house transit. And Saturn going back into your first during this time as well, it's like you're gonna start to feel just like very attractive. But the other thing that Venus and Leo is going to be doing for you is like you're gonna be really prioritizing your health. I feel like with Pluto transiting your 12th at this time too, it's like even though you're like really popular right now, it's kind of like you might find yourself going into these like behaviors that are a little bit not so perfect, and now it's like you're gonna start taking better care of like your health, and again going to the gym, eating healthier, having like a much better routine in general, and just like good things are going to be happening for you as it pertains to your love life, your relationships, having fun. But when Venus enters the sign of Leo for you, this is going to illuminate the themes of your health and your daily life and your work routine. So you might also find yourself working more on creative projects for work. That's also a potential thing that could happen because Venus is the planet of creativity. Jupiter is currently transiting your 5th. So you might find yourself starting a brand new creative project as it relates to your work life. And you might find yourself just beginning this project that also gets seen by a lot of people, but it's like it's going to be something that you begin during this time. So again, when Venus enters the sign of Leo for you, this is going to be more focused on your actual daily life, your work routine, your actual work life, and most likely creating some sort of creative projects around your work life. But at the same time, you're having very favorable relationships with everybody. You'll also have more positive relationships with your coworkers during this transit, and you might be attending more happy hours. And you might also find yourself having some sort of romance around these themes as well. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel.